Hi guys, my name is Sonia and welcome back to my channel. I've lived in London for 3 years and I've always wanted to show how life is for a student and recent graduate. I've already done a video on post-quarantine London, and by the looks of it, you will not believe that we're still in a pandemic. If you want to check out that video, there'll be a link in the description box below. Otherwise, as you can tell, this video is about my apartment in London and the area around it. I will say I was definitely not the biggest saver during my uni days. I didn't live as frugally as some of the students did. However, I didn't just throw my money around carelessly. If you're a new student, recent graduate, or have just got a job in London and you're thinking of moving and don't know what to expect, I hope this video helps you to decide when you make the move. It's definitely stressful and there's definitely a lot of things you have to consider, but this is why I'm here and this is why I want to show you how I've been living. So without further ado, this is my flat. So the block of flats do face the main street and it does get quite busy during the day. This was actually filmed after the ease of lockdown. It definitely does get busier in normal times. The whole street has a ton of cafes, shops and restaurants. I have 2 bus stops just outside the flat and an underground station on Piccadilly line about 7 minutes walk. Honestly, everything was really convenient. My flat is a studio on the ground floor, about 25 square meters, and it holds everything. The apartment definitely had a lot of storage space. I am a bit of a hoarder, so I did have to buy extra shelving space because, I just can't help it. I had a sofa bed which I never used as a sofa because I'm a bit lazy and I couldn't be bothered to pull it out when I'm back from uni. I had a TV which came with the apartment and I didn't use it. Then I have a washing machine, dishwasher, fridge, oven and cupboard to store hoover and kind of home appliances. I got plenty of cupboards and an electric hob. Moving on to the bathroom, my sink is tiny, not gonna lie. It's about the size of my 2 hands. Then we've got the toilet, we've got more shelving space, and I don't really wear makeup, but I seem to have a lot of it. And then the shower. Sorry for the shaky camera work, this was originally filmed for the letting agent. That's why it's also in box format. So as you can see, I have a lot of stuff. And with the whole graduation and finding a job, I decided to move out of my apartment. So I found a storage company and booked a removal van through them for the 27th of May. The day before was honestly hectic. Things were flying everywhere, I had so many things to pack. This is literally me, but with clothes. On the day of the move, the guy came super early. He was a lovely chap, really helped me out since I had a lot of things. I did have a bit of a problem with the price when I got to the storage space. The way they advertised it is a bit cheeky. But anyway, I got about 4/5 of my apartment into this small 15 square foot room. Honest to God, it was like doing Tetris. But I got it all in and in the sweltering heat, I went back home. So after about traveling for 1.5 hours back home, I get back and my place looks like a bomb site. I'm hot, I'm sweaty, I haven't eaten all day. So I decide to order something on Deliveroo. I get myself a burger and fries because I deserve it. A burger and fries arrive, I sit back, relax and enjoy the juicy little thing. So the flat itself is great for one person, even for a hoarder like me. I honestly had no problems up until the whole quarantine. I basically live on the main road, but the sound doesn't travel that much. What does travel though is the sound of the construction site. Before Miss Verona paid us all a visit, I was out of my flat from 8:30 AM till about 10 PM. I was going to uni, meeting friends, visiting places, etc. Sometimes I wouldn't even spend the night. But now, since I'm forced inside, I had to live with the noise of construction work. Luckily, the construction site did close 10 days after lockdown, so I actually spent my time in peace. It did reopen mid-May, but by then, I was already planning to move, so not my problem. The upside, as I mentioned before, is all the things near my flat, plus also the fact that a 5 minutes walk takes me to streets that remind me of Surrey. I really like the vibe of some of the houses, all the flowers and colourful doors. I think it's definitely a really nice thing to come back to every day. And then I got this beauty, a small park about 15 minutes walk from my place. I'd go there for my evening walks and I'd usually see a cat on the way, and I also became friendly with a fox. If you want to check that out, I've put a link in the description box below. During the night, the neighbourhood is actually really empty. This is filmed during quarantine, but normally after 12 PM, it's pretty much like this. So as I was getting closer to my moving date, I decided I needed to pack up the rest of my things before I went back home on the weekend to celebrate a birthday. I must say the place does look much better with the lack of stuff. So after a weekend of fun and celebration, I had no other plans other than to move. We woke up really early on Tuesday morning and made our way to London. I thought everything through and I believed that all the things should fit into 2 trips, one to the storage house and the other back home. The drive to London wasn't that bad. With the lack of traffic, the journey felt short. We also chatted a lot about Soviet Union and I was asking my mum about her life. My mum is a really tough lady and she's lived through a lot, but she has remained very positive and outgoing. We got to London pretty quickly, but that's where it all started. London has a dumb parking system, so finding a spot took a good 20 minutes. Once we parked and came into my flat, I realised that we had a lot to do. I couldn't really film it because we were pressed for time, and what I thought would take me 1 day took me 2 days. We got majority of the stuff out, but we had to come back the next day and grab the rest. I gave the flat a nice coat of paint on some of the walls and cleaned it up pretty well. It was definitely in better condition than when I moved in. So this is how my flat would have looked when I went for a viewing. Seeing it like this made me realise just how much space I had and that it's actually quite nice and spacious for a student. If I had been less of a hoarder, maybe I would have appreciated the space more. So my cost for rent was £900. I did negotiate with the landlord, so I did get it cheaper. I also paid no council tax because I was a student, but it would usually cost about £120 or more. My water and electricity bill came to an average of about £50 a month. My Wi-Fi cost me about £28 a month for the first 12 months, and then it went up to £42 a month. I spent around £100 to £150 on food. It really depended whether I was eating out, delivering, or eating in, and I also spent anywhere from £50 to £120 on travel a week. Again, it really depended whether I was using the underground and public transport more, or whether I was Ubering. You also have to remember other costs like phone bills. Mine was about £58 a month, and then you also have things like subscriptions. On average, my whole being and living in London would cost me around £1,800 a month. I do have to say that for a student, I lived quite well. £1,800 was just for living. Of course, my monthly spending was a bit higher. I spent money on clothes and going out with friends, but again, that varied from month to month. Overall, my whole time in London has been a great experience and has given me a lot of insight. Being in such a big city made me strive more with my work and my life. I found a lot of things to do that I enjoyed, and I stayed in touch with nature. London life is very expensive, and sometimes you can just feel your finances slipping. I've been quite lucky throughout university since I've done freelancing jobs and worked as an extra. I would say lesson learned, and with all this new knowledge and experience, I will try to be a bit more frugal and wise with my spending habits. You can definitely live cheaper if you rent with someone else and do shared meals, use public transport, etc. But I quite like my own space. I can't really handle mess that well. It's kind of my way or no way, really. If you yourself live in London and you've had a different experience, you have a different budget, comment in the section below. I think it would just be really interesting to have this conversation going so then people do know what they're expecting when they're moving to London. I hope this video helps you when you decide to move to London. If you have any questions, hit me up on Instagram. Please subscribe, like, comment, and share this video. Otherwise, until next time, bye guys!